Hello and the warmest welcome to Best Analysis, BA Football. On paper, Brazil has everything needed to control this game. Possession, technical quality, and individual superiority. But the real question is, if everything was in Brazil's favor, why did this match turn into such an exhausting battle? Brazil starts this match in a 4-3-3 formation. Brazil's problem starts right here. Not because of individual mistakes, not because of a lack of quality, but because of the wall Japan builds in front of goal. A wall that leaves almost no direct route through. If you're looking to understand the invisible war on the pitch, this video didn't just cross your path by accident. Follow BA Football. In this phase, Japan defend in a 5-4-1 structure. By maintaining compact distances between the lines and heavy central congestion, they effectively shut down all vertical spaces. The back five cover the depth behind the defensive line, while the four midfielders stay compact to control the spaces between the lines. As a result, Brazil finds almost no room to penetrate through the middle, and every attempt to play centrally is met by Japan's numerical superiority. And this is the moment Brazil finally finds a crack that may have only appeared a few times throughout the entire match. But the question is one opening enough to strike? In this phase, Brazil managed to break the lines with a line-splitting pass and receive the ball between Japan's defensive lines. Something that happens very rarely against such a compact defensive block. However, the minimal distance between Japan's midfield and defensive lines allows them to apply immediate pressure on the ball carrier, denying any chance to turn or drive forward. Japan then maintained their organized shape and heavy compactness, cutting off all passing lanes. In the end, with no route to penetrate, the Brazilian player is forced into a shot from outside the penalty area. When the middle of the pitch is locked, teams usually have two choices: wait or change the route of attack. Brazil decides to try the second option, and that decision changes the rhythm of the game. With Japan heavily congesting central areas, Brazil find very little space to attack through the middle. Because of this, they repeatedly move the ball toward the flanks, trying to exploit the spaces created out wide. Through ball circulation and intelligent use of width, Brazil attempt to stretch Japan's defensive structure and find a pathway into the penalty area through wide attacks. Sometimes the balance of an entire game collapses because of one simple mistake, just one misplaced pass. And what happens after that is exactly what Brazil feared most. Japan's goal begins with an error during an open play. Casemiro, Brazil's defensive midfielder, steps out of position to recover the ball. But due to poor physical positioning, he loses the one-on-one duel, and the Japanese player gets past him with ease. Japan's attackers then make intelligent forward runs, forcing Brazil's defensive line to retreat. This movement creates valuable space at the edge of the penalty area for a supporting Japanese player. With no real pressure on him, he strikes a precise long-range shot into Alisson Becker's net, giving Japan the lead. After conceding, Brazil turns a more complex solution to break Japan's defense. The idea looks excellent on paper, but Japan seems to have already read everything. In this phase, Brazil tried to break Japan's defensive block using third-man combinations. Off-ball movement and combination passing are designed to free the penetrating runner, but Japan's defender remain alert and deny the pattern from developing. By maintaining a disciplined defensive structure and excellent spatial coverage, Japan close all penetration routes and deny any deep receptions. In the end, Brazil once again find no route through and are forced into another shot from outside the box. With every passing minute, one thing becomes clearer: Japan aren't just defending, they're exhausting Brazil, and that may be even more dangerous than the defending itself. In this scene, Japan's disciplined and nearly flawless defensive structure is once again on full display. With a large number of players positioned around the penalty area, they close every passing and penetration lane available to Brazil. The extreme compactness of Japan's defenders and midfielders completely removes central space, leaving Brazil with no direct route to goal. Once again, Brazil are forced to rely on shots from outside the penalty area. When no route opens on the ground, the game moves into the air. Brazil realizes this and turns to the only pathway that isn't fully closed yet. But will it finally work? In the scene we're witnessing here, with Japan's defensive structure fully compact and all central spaces completely shut down, the best route to create danger becomes aerial delivery into the box. Recognizing this, Brazil commit enough players into the penalty area and begin attacking through crosses from wide areas, hoping to use their aerial advantage. Brazil's striker connects with an excellent header and threatens Japan's goal, but the Japanese goalkeeper positions himself perfectly and makes a composed save, preventing the equalizer. This was one of those moments where the entire stadium was ready to scream goal. The ball arrived exactly where it needed to be, but one player still refused to accept that ending. In this one, Brazil shift play to the right flank and create ideal conditions for a cross with multiple players inside the penalty area. The cross travels beyond the near post and reaches the far post, where a Brazilian player heads the ball back across goal into the 6-yard box, giving his teammates a huge scoring opportunity. But a Japanese defender arrives just in time on the goal line and clears the ball, denying one of Brazil's most dangerous chances of the match. Brazil's pressure has now reached the breaking point. Japan are still resisting, but cracks are beginning to appear in their defensive structure, and this is where the collapse begins. With central spaces still completely shut down by Japan, Brazil continue insisting on the crosses from wide areas. The decision reflects the sustained pressure they are placing on Japan's defensive line. A high-quality cross is delivered into the box, and Brazil's striker times his run perfectly, separating himself from the defenders before powering a precise header into the net. Brazil's relentless wide attacks finally pay off with a goal. Comebacks don't happen just by attacking more. They happen when you find the gap that didn't exist before. Brazil finally finds that gap, and from there, all it takes is one precise finish. After a brief exchange of passes, the ball returns to Brazil outside the box. With a precise pass, they find a teammate in the gap between Japan's center back and fullback, a space they have identified perfectly. The Brazilian player exploits this defensive gap, receives the ball, and finishes with precision to score the third goal, completing Brazil's comeback. Thank you for watching. See you next time.